I'm wondering what was the purpose of that meeting as the president considers it, and was there any outcome from it?
I don't have any readout from that meeting from Friday night.
Great. Thank you. Based on what you know about the situation in both Uvalde and Buffalo, is there anything that the Senate negotiators are considering now that would have stopped those two shootings? Or either one of them?
I'm no expert here, but one thing that I do know that we all know is that both the shooters were 18. And one of the things that's on the table is raising the age limit.
Are you sure that's on the table?
I'm so sorry.
From 18 to 21 to buy AR-15s? Because John Cornyn has...
Okay, I'm just saying it's been discussed.
I don't... Okay, if that was on the table, that would have affected me. Okay. But
you're asking me a question about what I think may have helped or stopped this awful strategy.
But in terms of what's on the table in the Senate.
I'm just saying that's been one of the conversations that's been out there. I do not know. Again, we're not negotiating from here. I'm just trying to make a point. This is something that the president support, raising the age from 18 to 21, because one of the things that we do know is both of the shooters were 18 years old. The one in Uvalde in particular, when he was 17, he asked his sister to buy him a gun. She said no, and as soon as he turned 18, he went and bought a gun. And so that is something that we have heard about, that's out there. That is something the president talked about on Thursday. And so I was just speaking to your question on what potentially could have helped.
Well, I'm actually asking what among the things the senators are considering could have prevented.
And again, I'm not going to negotiate from here. I'm just trying to help in a way to show, hey, this is something that we know is out there. This is something that the president talked about. I'm not going to negotiate from here. They're working through the contours of the plan, and we're going to let them figure that out.
Can I just ask one quick one on red flag laws? So does the president prefer a federal red flag law, or does he think it's better on a state-by-state level, and the government or the federal government should incentivize states instead?
Well, he supports I want to be really careful here, because we're not going to negotiate from here, right? We are going to allow, we're going to give them the space to come up with the contours of the deal, and we're just going to give them that space. What we're saying is we support the red flag law. The president has talked about it. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of what that looks like. We're going to let the negotiators figure that out.
Thanks, Karine. First, or two questions. First, can you commit that going forward, if there's a guest or a celebrity here, that you would ensure that they would stay at the podium and take questions from reporters after they speak?
That they're a guest. That is not for me to ensure.
Try to have them stay and take questions.
Karen, they're a guest of ours. It is up to them if they want to take questions or not. We respect them and what they want to do. Matthew was here, and when he was done, he said thank you, and he walked away. That really is up to him.
And on COVID, last week, a guest, Dr. Shah, was here, but he did take
Well, that's a little different. He works here. Yes.
But he said that what keeps him awake at night is that the U.S. will run out of vaccines, not have enough of the next generation of vaccines, run out of treatments and tests in the fall. This is something he has been saying a lot in interviews recently. But can you give us an update on where the COVID funding talks stand on the Hill in terms of what the White House is doing right now? What officials are meeting with lawmakers up there? Has there been any progress? Has the president talked with lawmakers about this? And is this getting overshadowed with the conversations that are happening right now on the gun talks?
It's a very good question. Look, just to kind of reiterate a little bit of what Dr. Jha has said, is without additional funding, we are unable to purchase life-saving treatments for the American people, including our most vulnerable. We've already cut down on our purchase of treatments for high-risk Americans. Imagine a 13-year-old with a heart condition who may not be able to access preventive treatment to stay safe from a life-threatening illness. We're losing our spot in line, while other countries are moving forward and buying next-generation vaccines for all Americans that may be needed in the fall and winter. So I think that's what he's talking about when he says he's losing sleep. When we think about the path forward and how we're going to get to where we need to be, we're working closely with members of Congress on a bipartisan basis to drive a path forward on COVID funding, and the president is committed to getting it done. And so Dr. Jha and OMB director have been on the Hill having those meetings. So the president deals with multiple things at a time. So this is still very much a priority. So we will continue doing our part to protect the American people. We will use the few funds we have remaining to continue getting testing, treatments, and vaccine out to Americans for as long as we can. We will continue to work the phones, hold briefings, and make our case publicly and privately with lawmakers, imploring Congress to act immediately on our long overdue COVID needs. And at the end of the day, it's Republicans in Congress. They need to act. They have to answer to the American people. If they can't get the vaccine, treatments, and tests that we will need come fall. So, we're going to continue doing the work. The work doesn't stop.
Karine?
Oh my gosh.
Back here.
Yeah,
SB?
thank you.
Yep.
Following up on the January 6th question,
Yeah.
there have been Republicans, prominent Republicans, as well as outside groups who are already making a concerted effort to downplay the entire thing before a single word has been said about in the hearings. Has the president, what are his thoughts about that? And has it made any efforts to reach out to Kevin McCarthy, to Mitch McConnell about, hey, this is important, we ought to be on the same page with this?
So the president has been really clear, right? He supports the bipartisan effort, the January 6th Select Committee bipartisan effort, but we're not going to get involved. That is something that is independent and needs to stay independent. It is important to protect our democracy. That is something that the president, what happened on January 6th was a very dark day in our democracy. And so we have to continue to find ways to protect it. So he supports what they're doing. We're not going to get involved. It's an independent committee.
Karine, back here.
Yeah, so you've said that we're in a stable economic, or we're transitioning to a stable economic growth. The Treasury Secretary also testified today we're going to a stable economic growth. What exactly is a stable economic growth?
I think the way that we're looking at it is just the data, just what we have seen in this past year. I think people forget what the president inherited when he walked in. You had 20 million people who were collecting unemployment benefits. You had unemployment was at more than 6%. And the work that he did with the American Rescue Plan, getting that done, and only Democrats voting for it, helped get the economy moving, helped get the economy growing. And so the way we see it is that we are in a strong place. The U.S. economy may grow faster this year than China's economy for the first time since 1976. With the right policies, we are confident that the U.S. can transition from recovery to stable, steady growth and bring down inflation without giving all of these historic gains that I just laid out. 8.7 million new jobs in this past year and a half. And so one of the things that we have been very clear about is giving the Federal Reserve the independence to deal with inflation, and they are committed to it. We are committed to it, and they have the strongest tools to come up with monetary policy to get that done.
Is that GDP growth like under the Obama administration, 1.5%, 1.8% for the year?
I mean, I'm not going to get into like the specifics of GDP growth, but what I can say is the numbers, the data that we have seen just on job growth, for 390,000 jobs in the month of May. What we have seen is historic numbers. We are in a historic place in history, historic place right now as we look at where we are with the economy. Very, very different than where we were a year ago. And that is because of what the president has been able to do with a comprehensive plan to get people vaccinated, with a plan to get people back to work. Remember, and I know some of you know this, schools were closed. when he entered the administration. Businesses were closed when he entered the administration. The economy was in crisis. We are in a different place. That's how we see this.
Real quick one, are we in recession then? Because the Atlanta Fed GDP now looks at a snapshot. It's 0.9%. It's gone down from 1.9 to 1.3 for the second quarter. 2 quarters in a row of negative growth is a recession. So are we there, and how close?
Look, the way that we see it is we have the right tools, and we are in a strong place to continue to be in this transition where we have stable growth, and that is what's important. And so that's going to be our focus.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you guys. I do have to go. I really do have to go. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks, guys. Thank you.